back to a brand new video on the Top Cricket Academy YouTube channel. Today we're joined by a very special guest. We've got Andrew Buzzer, or Buzzer from Buzz About Cricket. He has a YouTube channel. We will put some clips in now.
My channel Buzz About Cricket. My name is Andy Buzzer and today's video is all about paddle sweeps and scoops.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool.
Oh my god!
It might shed some clips in for you of your channel if you've got any stuff you can show. He's running a very good YouTube channel, similar to us, where he talks about coaching. What I thought we'd do today is we'll get him in for a video with us to review myself batting and react to
I'm going to love this. I'm going to absolutely love this.
Yeah, I bet he can't wait for it. And yeah, because obviously we're both coaches, and I thought it'd be interesting to see another coach's perspective on me batting. Before we get into the video, both Buzz and myself do have a little project as well that we do on the side. We run a YouTube channel called Boundary to Boundary, which is a podcast. So we'll edit a clip, insert here.
I didn't go on to be England captain or anything like that, but I got to experience playing professional cricket.
Thank you, here or wherever.
Oh my god!
Yeah, head over, give it a subscribe, and listen to some of the Boundary to Boundary podcasts that we've done. We have some great guests, and the two of us tend to get on quite well on that channel, don't we, Buzz?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10. Yeah.
But straight back on.
We're on camera, best friends.
So a bit of context. This is a put together montage of my best batting clips from a net session, before lockdown.
Cool.
Famous intro.
I really love it. I love your badge as well, and your thigh guards. Obviously, I can't hear you, but I'm guessing you're talking to yourself, and
yeah,
you'll have to tell me what you're saying.
Yeah.
So my initial thing is your trainers are a little bit decent, aren't they? Have you in terms of your stance?
Yeah.
In terms of your stance, have you always stood like that?
Yeah, I have. I've played around with a few things. So I did try for a bit having a really wide stance and trying to really focus on getting my head to the ball. So I'm quite tall and I tend to be quite slow on that. But I just found I feel a lot more natural when I stand a bit more upright, just because it feels a lot more comfortable for me.
So I can't tell from this angle, but how wide is your stance at that point?
Barely shoulder width, maybe just slightly bigger than shoulder width apart.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not much.
Because obviously I'm looking at the shape that you're creating, and it's just quite dramatic angles. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. You know, if it's comfortable, great. It just, for me, aesthetically looks like quite a big drop between from your feet to your knees to your hips. That angle is quite severe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if that feels, again, there's no right or wrong there, as long as it feels comfortable. I just didn't know if that was a natural move, a natural stance that you've put in, or someone's actually told you, oh, have you thought about X, Y, Z?
Oh no, it's all completely natural. It's quite strange actually, because it's just like, to me, that's how I set up. Like, I look back and watch video of me. I was like, I do really bend. Another thing I noticed, you'll notice it in the video, I do a lot with the bat.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely knocking in a screw. I'm hammering in a screw behind me when I bat.
All right, I'll have a look. Oh, well, that little movement there with your hands.
Yeah. It's less. I was aware of it, so I started to stop it a bit more. Let's get some medium pace.
Right, so if you just go back onto that shot, bit back. So right, so this is your alignment here. And if I was looking at you, I think that looks to me, it's okay. I don't like the fact that your back pad's outside the line of off stump. Number one, okay. I like to see everything a little bit tighter from your pad, so your pad line and your knee line going up to roughly your head and your eye, your right eye, and it normally, between middle to off stump, somewhere in between there, I'm happy with. And the reason why, the first movement that you're going to do, and that I've noticed in those two shots, is that your head actually drops towards that offside. So I'm not going to make an initial assessment and say you fall over a lot or
Yeah.
you move across to off stump a lot. But what you're going to tend to see is, I imagine your head is now going to fall outside the line of off stump. All right. So if you play that shot now, your first movement, so for there, everything's come back, bang. So ready. See how your head actually, straight away, rather than moving forward, it actually just rocks. So if you go to your next shot,
Yeah. Early on that
your setup is really nice, but your first movement with your head actually starts to fall just outside the line of the ball. So it sets up really nice. And again, that even there, your head starts to move. So a cover drive, perfect, because your weight's going. Again, moves across slightly to the offside.
Yeah.
So now this isn't a drastic thing, and this isn't something that I'd be like, oh, you've got to change this straight away. But it's definitely something that I would go, right, are you aware that you're doing that?
Yeah.
So in your initial setup, with the angle of which you're creating with your legs and your knees and your pad falling outside off stump, you're probably promoting your weight to fall in that. I say fall, it's not a fall, just to move in that direction. How do you tend to get out, or how, where would you say your weakest point is?
It's hard to say. I think.
Why? Because you score loads and loads of runs.
No. I played one game last season, so I can't. Off the top of my head, I think I got up bold. I think trying to work it to the leg side. It's hard to know really on a consistent basis. My mentality normally lets me down, rather than my ability. My ability, as bad as that sounds, I tend to get frustrated and then play a loose shot, as opposed to actually having a necessary flaw in my technique. But yeah, it's interesting because my back leg tends to work quite a lot. I know Liam takes mick out of me a bit because my back leg comes around a lot, and that's obviously to adjust my balance where my head is slightly going, even just slightly going.
Yeah,
that means my back leg will come round to create the angle. So it's interesting.
But I think that can like, normally I'd have that conversation way before I've looked at any footage or watch anyone doing a one-to-one. It's trying to get to know you first. Yeah. But when you say that, and now you go back into your setup and just watching yourself back, just be wary. Just look at where your initial line is between your pads and your back pad, for example, and your head, and then where your head wants to start to move before you've made impact. So rather than your head moving towards the ball, you'll start to tend to see it just drop away towards off stump and outside off stump. So anything that's straighter or moving into you, you're then going to be stepping even further across to kind of counterbalance yourself.
Yeah.
I would imagine anyway.
It makes sense. This is against left arm spin. Is why I'm batting on off stump. That's better. One. See, that's something I've only started doing recently. I never used to play spin off the back foot. I've always been quite comfortable coming down the wicket and coming at the ball. But the left arm spin at the bottom, he was quite tall. Yeah. And because he wasn't getting much purchase on the ball, I moved myself onto off stump. And I tend to find, with this shot here, like this position there, look at that. I'm already pretty much taken out the dismissal of being bowled LBW because I can see it short and wide. So I'm able to get onto it.
So from where your back foot is now, you're probably just on the crease.
Yeah.
So if you can just skim this on a little bit further and then pause it at impact, stop. Yeah. So you can still see that your back foot is just pushed back. If you give yourself, you've created all of that room. Okay. You didn't need to get too far across to off stump even further because you've made that in your initial setup, which is great. All of that space there now, you just need that composure to wait and wait and wait and wait and put that ball away. So I imagine he would be having something like a 5-4 field, maybe a sweeper on the boundary.
Yeah.
But again, if you just waited for that ball, you would give yourself maybe one or two options with that delivery. You don't quite get it, and it's a newer bowler, I'm guessing. So it's good to get bat on ball. But that's definitely something that I'd be saying for you as a batter. That's where, right, if he's going to bowl that line, especially on a pitch like this, yes, it's clay or indoor facility, so it's going to be bouncy, it's going to be skiddy. I would actually be saying to you, if you can't drive it, get on your back foot.
Yeah,
ball's not going to turn, so play him as a slow medium pacer, and really just kind of, like I said before, have that composure to give yourself three options especially in front of square, square, and behind square.
Yeah. So you committed to an option there.
Like your weight pushing yourself away from the ball there just shows you haven't quite committed fully to the stroke as well.
Yeah, that point there,
dragging you back.
Yeah, that point there you can't hear. I said I think he's going to come a bit straighter, so maybe the reverse. So I'm preempting because he's bowled too short to wider ones, and because of the fact he's left arm spinner. If he does, he's going to get if he gets a little bit on it, that's a shot I feel comfortable going with the spin. So that's just what I was saying there.
So that's a premeditated stroke, right?
Yeah.
So if you go back to that, so if you hold it, that's perfect. So look how high you are in that stroke.
Yeah.
So in just in terms of I don't mind the fact that you've premeditated it. I really don't mind, and the theory behind that sounds for you quite convincing. And I think at times that's really important. The batter kind of makes a decision and can kind of almost agree with themselves. Yeah, the reason why I'm premeditating this stroke is because of A, B, and C. So when you've decided to premeditate a sweep shot, for you to be this high for yourself is actually quite unforgivable, because you know you're going to play that stroke.
Yeah.
So regardless of what the ball's doing, you should be down low. You should be getting to that ball at impact to negate the spin, to negate the bounce, and therefore to give yourself the best opportunity. I'd imagine what's happened is he's released the ball and you've gone, oh, that's not probably going to go where I want it to go, and almost try to adapt your premeditation. When the reality is, if you'd have just continued with what you wanted to do, plan A as such, I think you'd have been probably more successful.
Yeah.
Like you've already said, it's your strength, is it not?
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's probably not too much of a strength because I don't get to it. Like you said, I don't get down on it. I more just rely on my hands. It's more just trying to use the angle and just let my hands take over and meet the contact. I'm trying to meet the contact. But like you say, being taller when it is fuller, it's fine if it just drops. I tend to find I'm okay if I don't pick it in shorter of a length, because that's when I'm meeting. I can come up and hit it almost as a reverse pull shot, half reverse pull. But when it is fuller, that's when I tend to miss out. Because again, I'm trying to hit it too. I'm always hit it behind me there because of how close the back face is.
Well, the positive is that you've not crossed over and everything's in line. And that's what I tend to see a lot of players cross their front pads over. So you are allowing yourself lots of access to the ball and your weight's going forward. Just make contact.
Yeah.
Yes, you're in a high position, but if you're backing that your hands are that good, focus.
It's a terrible free throw there, proper gut.
Decent kick though.
Looks alright, doesn't it? This isn't my bat, it's just someone else's bat actually. Still haven't got a bat for the season.
Little bit uppish.
Yeah, I wasn't quite there, but I committed to it. But yeah, I said hard hands in there. So using my feet.
So still on. So can we just go back to there again? Go back on that one. So this is what I mean. This is what I mean before. So you're set up. You're happy in that stance, which is fine. Don't mind that. Hands are moving consistently. You say you move it a lot, but you're doing that consistently. So I wouldn't. No one. I imagine no one's spoken to you about your hands or your back lift. So what I'm seeing is your natural line of coming to the ball. So again, I'm pretty happy with that. This is a prime example of what I was talking about before. What you're going to see is your head just slowly move outside the line of off stump. And then what happens is at the point of impact, your head is then no longer anywhere in line with the ball. And you actually start what I call fishing for the ball. You just want to make contact with the ball rather than committing to a stroke. So if you just skip that forward, I don't know how slow you can go on that. So even there, your head has come outside the line of the ball, feet have gone, and now you're just making contact.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So if you can just go back slightly. So there you go. So from that position, your head now has started to already go outside of it. So you're not coming at the ball. And therefore, to create that space, your feet have to just get out the way for you to actually make contact with that ball, rather than getting your weight driving through it. So your feet counterbalance your head to create room for your hands to come through at the ball.
Makes a lot of sense from there.
So you probably hit mid on there.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, if you've come a little bit straight with your head, you're hitting a lot straight, a lot harder because your weight's in the ball.
Yeah.
wait. And again, if you just go back to that one, you can feel, if you imagine someone at 45 and they've got a rope around your waist, it just looks like they pull you towards it. So where you would want, so from there, you would probably want your back foot 6 inches outside off stump, just so you can then get your weight back into the ball, and then you can control where you're hitting it. And then it's just about experience of, you know, are you going to hit it in front of square, or behind square? When your weight goes behind you, I do this. This is almost like if I get my weight here, I can really throw my body at it to hit it too hard, or hit it harder, I should say. You actually limit how much weight you're putting in the ball, therefore you're hitting it softer, or you're not creating as much power. But just imagine someone at 45, they're going to tug you with that rope and you fall away. That's where your power's going. So then you are relying completely on your hand speed to generate power throughout the ball.
Yeah.
Play that through. Like, pulled away, bosh, stay in the shot. Yeah. Your hands are like so quick. That's a huge positive.
Yeah, that's something I've never really had, to be fair, but till now.
Really?
Yeah, it's never really had the hand speeds. So I'm saying I might go over mid-off is my shout here.
Right.
Wasn't quite
there,
there,
yeah. See, that's the sort of thing that I would be kind of saying, right, if that's your game plan, I wouldn't want to premeditate just that one shot.
Yeah.
You know, have that in your game plan, but as the ball wasn't there to do it, you've given away a dot rather than maybe scoring a single elsewhere.
Yeah.
Good hands. Just wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That's all I'd be saying to you there. Wait.
I was singing Matthew Wilder there.
That's the one. Go over the top. That's the one. If you go back to that one.
Yeah.
If your game plan was to go over the bowler's head, and that's in your head, that's registered straight away from ball one, rather than a premeditation, that ball goes.
Yeah.
Because you are now putting so much emphasis on each one delivery for one outcome, when that ball isn't there to hit, I think that you're missing out on potential options. So the strokes of which you're playing, I'm actually more than happy with. I really am.
Yeah.
The fact is, though, you're just missing out on scoring opportunities because it's not in your desired area for your boundary.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
See, your shape looks good. A little bit of movement, but
not bad for a year out.
Single.
Yeah, I'm quite good at that flicking from the hip.
You tend to wait a little bit longer in that stroke, to be fair.
Yeah. Just try not to overcommit, overbalance.
See, even there, if you skip back, you're going to really highlight this. See, that for me, you're a big tall guy, right? You've got hand speed there. The first thing before that, the ball's not in frame, but your weight in your head now, if we were to draw a central line down it, your head is now falling. Hate that word, but your head is now pushing outside the line of off stump.
Yep.
Okay, so the lines of which you create now with your bat and your hands, you're looking at probably third slip, second being generous, third slip, almost gully probably at the point of impact. So that ball can go nowhere else but leg side, probably squarer. So just in front of mid wicket to square leg. All right.
Yep.
Now you're what, 6'2"?
6'3". Yeah.
6'3". If you stood a touch bigger in your initial setup, and we just got your weight coming slightly forward towards the ball in that setup, this bowler's bowling I'm guessing mid-60s, 70s at a push.
Yeah, mid-60s if that. Yeah.
If he bumped you, you'd still be happier with your weight coming at the ball.
Yeah.
I would be looking at this setup on this pitch on a flat wicket. I'd be saying, right, why aren't we being a bit more dominant? Why aren't we being a little bit more aggressive with our setup? And this shot we're about to see, so if you press play here, I mean, I think you could just stand and deliver. I think you could, again, your mindset to the spinner is hit over the top, hit straight over mid-off. I think that should be the same. Are you saying it's a slower ball?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Again, that.
Be
big, be strong.
He's hitting a hard length. If you're not decisive, you tend to pop up on it and just your
But when you
hands
say
go.
a hard length, these deliveries to me they don't look like. Not many of them are really getting up above. Like again, that's not getting above the stumps.
No.
So I'm talking about from just a physicality point of view. So this isn't. I don't think we're looking at a physical and a mental approach to this style of bowler, because you've stood there and you haven't really come forward. You haven't really gone back. You kind of just stayed on that crease. Everything looks quite aesthetically pleasing. Looks quite pretty. Decent bowling. Just getting bat on ball, hitting probably mid wicket quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stood there just a little bit bigger and really allowed your weight coming into the ball, you would start stinging fielders' hands within the same setup and the same mentality of which you're doing. If you then approach that and you said to yourself, on a flatter wicket of which we're seeing, with the bowling type that we're what he's doing and what he's bowling, again, just to highlight, I haven't seen many deliveries get above bail height. When I have, they've kind of flirted more leg stump line where you're happy to flick off your hip towards square leg behind square for your 1 or your 2. I would actually suggest standing there and thinking, if he bowls that length to me and I commit my weight forward, I'm going to have a better opportunity at scoring down the ground, over the bowler's head, over mid-on. And if he comes anywhere near middle to middle and leg, your hands are that quick, you would then start hitting a boundary towards, straight mid-wicket. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's all it would be would just be kind of maybe, and again, it's really hard from this angle because you can't see from side on, but I would just probably say lengthening your stance slightly and just really starting to play with the idea of getting your weight on a stricter line coming forward and backwards rather than tilting that slightly going. As soon as your body tilts that way, your body doesn't then want to come forward. It's two movements. And regardless of how fast the bowler's bowling, it's incredibly hard to go here to here. Really hard. We talk about batters, we talk about fluidity. Your hands, to me, at this moment, look like your asset. Your key, because the positions that the positions that you're getting in are not limited at all, but they're not perfect. But your hands get you out of trouble every time.
Yeah.
It looks like you're making decent and clean contact with the ball. So it's just creating a better stance, almost a better body, so a base of which you can actually really highlight your hands to score your runs with.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. Very fair looking at the clips. Get back over the clips. Again, there.
Do you know what I mean? I just think I think you've got power. I think you've got the shape, the genetic shape to kind of go, actually, why can't I just bang him over? Especially if he's not, challenging your head. Perfect. Good. Put the pressure on. Again, coming down the track, just flirting with coming across to offside.
Yeah.
Better shape. Again, though, if you look, you're so much better at off stump to fourth stump, fifth stump, because your head's already on that line.
Yeah.
If you imagine the ball swinging away from you, if you imagine the slow left armer pushing it away onto that line, your weight in your head you're already there. You're already set up to go, okay, I'm just going to stay here. Now I can just put my hands through the ball. It's easy. Yeah. When that line comes straighter, it's extremely hard for you to then get your head back in line there, simply because we're going back into those two movements again.
Yeah.
Where is naturally your strength against a seamer?
Strangely, I like it when it's on my pads. I like.
Right, okay.
I'm very comfortable
against everything that I've just said.
No, but I think again that's it's the fact I do go more square because I back myself to play that shot, and then I don't know really anything straight and on my pads. I'm getting better with driving, but yeah, just that's what's weird. It goes against what should be happening because I've grooved the skills so often now that to me, but I still think I need to improve because there's that length where we can get really tied up. Like you said, that mid length where the head goes slightly there. Yeah. And then the hands become restricted in there rather than actually that movement. Hands can come up a bit more. And I never really am able to get underneath it and go off a seamer. but I see what's interesting shot. I didn't really commit to it, but
No comment. So if you go back to that one, if you just go back to that coming down the track there, again, that shot, your head rocks just outside the line because that ball's on that line. There's lots of space, so your hands can naturally come through the ball.
yeah,
So if we go through there, so your head's already outside, but as that ball's on that line, then everything almost comes back in line because the ball's in line with your head. So your head rocks, the ball's delivered, or it's really hard to tell with this timing, but I'm guessing just before the point of delivery, your head starts to just rock, and when it's in line with that, your hands can naturally come through. That shot didn't look that forced. It looked like the line of the bat's come through the ball. There is a transition of weight going through the shot. I would like to have seen at impact a slightly wider shape. So, if you were driving from the crease, I would like to see the same shape further down the track. And when I talk about advancing down the track, that's all I talk about. And it was a great tip that was given to me from another coach. It's basically we create the same shape on the crease, just further down the track.
Yeah.
And as soon as someone said that to me, it's quite clear and obvious to look out for that.
Yeah.
Now, you wouldn't be happy with that drive if you were stood in your crease.
No.
If that makes sense. You'd be like, oh, I should have actually been a little bit more controlled, a little bit, have a bigger base, blah, blah, blah. Same principle when we're coming down. But all in all, that shape and that shot in a much better position. But again, that's because your head has got in line with the ball. Whereas that one, that's on a middle and leg stump. You're not as comfortable because your head is actually on off stump, just outside off stump.
Yeah. I could have. I'd say that one. I could have pulled it.
Probably, yeah. There you go. See, that's that mentality. Again, I'd want to see you bosh that.
Yeah. It's
how long have you been batting for at this stage?
Hard to say, really. Actually,
that's a good shot.
Half an hour, probably.
That's a good shot. Half an hour. If someone's bowling you length that
that's my
mid-60.
That's my go-to there. That's
your shot?
No, that's not. That's my favourite shot. The one of all the clips. This next one coming up here. This was my favourite.
The cover drive.
That for me was when I had everything. When I played it on the day, I didn't even feel it. So when I watched it back, I was like, that's how I should be driving the ball.
Yeah.
It's not overstretched. It's not overstride. I haven't gone at the ball. I've played it. I don't think you see the point of contact with this. That to me felt perfect.
So if we just look again at the points of which we've been highlighting in terms of your head. So your initial movement, again, it's just moving towards or outside off stump. So that's where your strength is going to be because you're going to want to get your weight across on that line. That delivery is absolutely prime. And all you've done is just transitioned your weight through the shot.
Yeah.
Not try to overhit. You've controlled your hand speed, waited for the ball, put it away. Beautiful.
Yeah. It did feel nice, that one.
Bang.
That was just...
If that ball's 6 inches, if that ball is 6 inches, maybe not even that, 4 inches to the right and starts tracking towards, rather than fifth stump, towards off stump, then all of a sudden your head starts to be threatened to be outside the line of it again.
Yeah.
So that's, just looking at those clips, there's nothing there that makes me go, oh my God, this guy can't play cricket at all. There's loads of positives. Your hand speed being the biggest key. The things that I would be looking at from a coaching standpoint would be your initial setup and just trying to soften a few of those angles by maybe creating a larger base, which you still feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Highlighting that movement with your head and your weight going forward and backwards. And then I'd probably be just kind of looking at your points of contact and how early and late you're looking to play the ball.